Y'all, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Chosen Farrell back at another reaction video. Today's reaction video is Hollywood people tell their stories, experiences in Hollywood. Let's get it.
To be weird because
Hold on. Let me pull it back to the beginning.
just because somebody has a little bit of money, a little bit of followers, does not mean that they are safe. If anything, that gives them more reasons to be weird because they have the resources to get away with it.
What is up, y'all? It's Amber and I'm back with another video.
What's good,
I
Amber?
wanted to do a little quick compilation for you guys. So amidst everything that is happening with Hollyweird right now, some people call it, a lot of people are getting got for being creepy. A lot of producers, a lot of executives, a lot of high-powered people. And I thought it would be an appropriate time to give you guys a cute little compilation of people talking about how they had weird experiences in Hollywood. Anyways, let's roll these clips.
It is literally true that Hollywood is the devil's playground, and I lived in Hollywood, so I can say that. I lived on the Strip, like Hollywood Boulevard. I don't know why nobody told me not to move there, but I did, which was a very big mistake. I cannot tell you how many times I saw and heard of people around me, and it's crazy because I'm not somebody who's ever experienced that in my life. But in the building that I lived, someone jumped off the balcony of my floor and committed,
Damn.
someone also on my floor, and his body was left to rot for months, probably like 8 months since before I had moved in, which is insane. And I have proof of this, and I'll actually do a story time another day because like I was like a little like investigator and I found this out myself. Like, I don't think anyone else knew, but I 100% knew. Someone from my building was throwing glass objects from like the 3rd floor into the courtyard. I walked out my house at 9 o'clock in the morning and I saw someone shooting up into their veins. Yeah. I would see people screaming and shouting and crying, laying on the floor, like begging for help, and nobody would help them.
Yeah.
The energy and vibes were so bad in that apartment that I literally broke my lease and I paid $3,000 just to get out of there. The more you know.
Yeah.
Hollywood is the devil's playground, and I lived in Hollywood, so I can.
So I still live in Hollywood too, more specifically the Hollywood Hills, but I would always come down to Hollywood Boulevard to like eat and run errands and stuff because it was close to my house and I didn't have a car. So sometimes there would be movie premieres at the Chinese theater and I would come out of the movie screening and it'd be really late, like 11 or 12 p.m., which is way later than anyone should ever be on Hollywood Boulevard, period. I've seen people over right on the Walk of Fame with the needle sticking out of their leg. I've seen people with machetes and knives just slicing the air in front of them, hoping to get somebody who passes by. I've seen people sell drugs out the back of a truck. I've witnessed a hostage situation at one of the apartment complexes on Hollywood Boulevard. A SWAT team had to come and rescue the person, and I was literally having dinner next door. I've been punched in the back of the head by a homeless person. I just can't imagine spending all your hard-earned money to come to LA and see Hollywood Boulevard.
It's been a minute since I shared a story with you guys from the time I lived in Hollywood, so let's go ahead and get into another one. So the story starts when I'm a junior in high school. I follow this random Instagram model that my best friend found. We both thought he was cute. Never in my life did I think that I was going to end up having to get a restraining order against this guy and involve the police. Fast forward, I'm now 18 years old and I'm living on my own. My best friend at the time wanted to go to LA and just do a little girls trip, so we booked a hotel. I believe it was called the Grafton, but now they changed the name to the Ziggy. So before we got to LA, I'm looking through my following list. I'm like, let me see who lives out there that I could try to hit up. And I see this guy and I thought, and I sent him a DM. Big mistake. He ended up responding pretty quickly and told me that there was this little like dance competition going on at this club that was on Hollywood and Vine. He told us to meet him at his apartment and we would all go together. For whatever reason, we thought that was a good idea and we went. Just because somebody has a little bit of money, a little bit of followers, does not mean that they are safe. If anything, that gives them more reasons to be weird because they have the resources to get away with it. So lesson number 1. Once we got to his apartment, it wasn't just him like he said it would be. It was actually him and another guy, but the friend was really, really nice. We were talking to him while he was over in the kitchen preparing drinks. The whole time I'm watching him make the drinks and he's acting very like sus, looking over his shoulder. And when he notices that I'm watching him, he like starts rambling. So I send my friend a text message and I say, do not drink whatever he gives us. Look at him, he's being sus as fuck. Once he finally gives us the drinks, he could tell that we're not gonna drink them because it's been a couple of minutes. We're just talking to his friend. He's not trying to like interact with our conversation at all. It's mad. He's like, can you just hurry up and drink them so we can leave?
Yeah, super sus.
I guess his friend tried to like diffuse the situation, so he's like, okay, let's just go ahead and leave. Once we get to the club, like I said, this guy was not trying to talk to us at all at his apartment. So why when we get to this club, he's trying to touch up on me, be up all over my body. I made it obvious that he was making me uncomfortable when I started just kind of like talking to his friend, and he stormed off and left me alone. When I let the friend know that the vibe was not there and we were gonna go ahead and leave, he felt so bad that he offered to take us to go and get some dinner real quick. So we did that, and then we went back to our hotel.
Low-key,
I wake up to like 10 missed calls and all these text messages from the model guy talking about, where did you go last night? I was looking for you. Why'd you leave? And I let him know, like, you were being weird. Like, that was not a good time. And he felt bad. And he said, oh, let me go ahead and try again tonight. Like, let me pick you guys up. Let's go do something. This man did not even have a car. At the time, I was very young and curious. So I wanted to go up into one of the little clubs and like see what was going on. So we told him to meet us there, and girl, the entire time him and my friend are just fighting and arguing about like nothing. We got asked to leave, so as we're like walking down the sidewalk back to our hotel, they are just yelling and arguing with each other, trying to come up to the room because he still wants to chill. And my friend's like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, come on up, even though I texted her like 5 times like, okay, we need to lose him. So now this guy's in our freaking hotel room and we're all just like sitting down, no one's even talking. And then my friend jumps up, puts on some heels, and she says, oh, I gotta go meet this guy downstairs, bye. So now I'm here with this guy by myself, and he starts acting crazy. I can't get too graphic here on TikTok, but let's just say that I was literally running around in circles trying to get away from this guy for a very certain reason. Like, girl, at one point this guy bites me. The whole time I'm like yelling in there, but like no one's knocking on the door, no one's coming to help me. But eventually my friend ends up showing up again. By the way, we're not friends anymore. She ends up showing up to the room, and she's like, what's going on in here? Like, I could literally hear you yelling from down the hall. I just came to get my card. And at this point, this man runs into the bathroom, and I'm like telling her like what just happened. I don't know what to do because I had another scary situation happen to me in May of that same year, and the police were no help, so I don't know who to call. So my friend just starts yelling at the guy to leave, and he eventually does. Fast forward to the end of summer, my social medias were growing pretty good, so I wanted to move to LA and possibly connect with other influencers. Obviously, I didn't forget the whole situation that happened to me a couple months before, but I didn't want it to hold me back from trying something different. After only a couple of weeks of living there, this guy starts messaging me from other accounts that he made because I had his main one blocked, talking about we didn't leave things off on the right foot, like let's try again. So I just keep blocking. And it's like one day I just started seeing him everywhere I was going, whether it was the Galleria Mall, just walking down Hollywood Boulevard, going to the Beverly Center. I kept seeing him everywhere. So one day I'm hanging out with my girl Kelly Sweet, and we're driving around. We're maybe one street over from my apartment. And who do we see on the corner with a camcorder pointed straight up at the buildings? When I say this man was showing up everywhere, like, girl, there's no reason he should be at the wig store that I'm shopping at. The wig store. So I decided, you know what, the police didn't help me that one time, but let's try again, and I filed for a restraining order. And by the grace of God, girl, I actually got it. Because this guy knew where I lived, they recommended that I move to a different apartment building, so I did just that. So now at this point, I'm living in Glendale. It did not matter that I moved. This man was still showing up to places that I was at. He did not care that I had a restraining order against him. And girl, the paranoia and just like not feeling safe was starting to really fuck with my mental health. So I had a roommate at the time because I did not feel safe living by myself anymore. Girl, and it did not help that I had an influencer break into my apartment.
Insurance pros keep claims in check for clients. That means scanning, signing, and managing tons of files and pieces of evidence. That's where ShareFile comes in. Secure.
Do I ever get a fucking break? I had a whole other influencer break into my apartment building and just do all this crazy. So like, just all of this stacking up. So I took the hint and I left LA. I left California. I said, this is clearly not the place for me to be because all this crazy keeps happening. Like, girl, I have so much that I have not shared online. And once I moved back to Arizona, all the harassing calls, all the weird, it stopped. So that was the time that I got stalked by a Instagram model. Like, this guy was always posting girls on his story, like, always had someone on his arm. Like, why are you stalking me? I got kids to protect now, so I can't sit here and say his name and, like, have him start all this shit again. But yeah, be careful and do not be super trusting of people just because they have followers, because look what happened. Another reason not to move to Hollywood.
I was invited to a secret A-list celebrities party. There were things that happened at this party that were so dark and so terrible that I have been afraid to talk about it until now. This goes back to almost 7 years ago when I was living in Los Angeles. I was a struggling actress. I was working as a dancer at a club. At this club, we would get a lot of clients that were high profile, especially in the music industry. On one particular evening, we had this very high profile client come in and request a VIP room. I knew that this celebrity had a preference for Latino women, so when he requested a VIP room and actually requested me, I was quite surprised. And I went to do this VIP with a friend of mine that I worked with, did our job, did our thing, and at the end, he gave us a business card with his assistant's name and phone number and told us to call that number if we wanted to party after work that night. I was so not down for this, but the friend that I had done the VIP with told me that she's gone to one of his parties before and that he lives in the Hollywood Hills, has a really cool house. I was really apprehensive on going, but the night was really slow at the club that evening, so we actually ended up leaving early. I was not much of a party person or a drinker, so I was completely out of my element. I was literally there just for the bag. The party at this guy's house was not big or anything. I would say that there were probably less than 30 people in attendance, smoking and doing things that you can imagine are happening at celebrity parties. But one thing I couldn't help but notice is that amongst the people were some very, very young looking girls. At one point I look at my friend and I tell her, hey, like, don't some of these people look like way too young? That is when my friend told me that the assistant at the club wasn't the A-list celebrity's assistant. This guy is a recruiter. Basically what this person does is goes to parties, goes to clubs, finds girls in a certain age range. And these young girls were being recruited to go to these parties, not to just hang out, but to engage in other unlawful things. This is actually not something completely uncommon in Los Angeles. In fact, this is something that happens a lot. I was completely dumbfounded and disgusted. I ended up leaving that night and never looking back on the whole entire situation until years later, I saw in a tabloid an accusation being made against this very celebrity of doing exactly what I just told you guys.
It's literally true that Hollywood is the devil's playground. And I lived in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, Los Angeles, California, it is extremely normal to see bodies in the street. It's normal to see people shooting up right beside the restaurant that you're eating at. They're shooting up when they're smoking crack. They're doing meth. They're rolling up right there, right beside Sunday's brunch. I was in LA almost 5.5 years. I've seen bodies in the street. I've seen people laying in the middle of the road, just homeless, covered, naked, covered in dookie, just walking around like that's an everyday occurrence. To live in Los Angeles, California, or pretty much anywhere in Southern California, you need to have some sense of delusion, and you have to disassociate from everything that's going on around you. In no way should it be normal for you to go from your home to your workplace, and in that 20 minutes of time, you already seen a bum fight, you've seen a garbage dumpster on fire, there's a body, there's a police shootout, there's a random baby selling on the corner. Yes, it's a crazy place, but you need to know what you want out of that place before you go. I had a great experience. It was crazy, but I got what I needed out of it. I learned a lot. It's plenty of stories I probably don't want to share on this app, but yeah. Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, be prepared if you're gonna go.
It is literally true that Hollywood is the devil's playground.
Oh yeah, this is why I moved from San Diego to New York and not LA. I grew up in San Diego, so I had a lot of friends move up to LA, like right after college or high school. Like all my friends that wanted to like accomplish anything, you know? And so before I moved, I used to always go up to LA. And I had a lot of fun like partying there, but actually living there seems awful. Okay, first of all, most of my friends that moved there did get involved somewhat in like a higher up scene where they're hanging out with like celebrities. I have had so many friends tell me that they have had conversations with like very famous people, that LA just has a dark, negative energy around it. I'm not talking about like, oh, it's haunted, like people die every place, you know? I'm talking about like astrogeography, energetic vortexes. I actually do have a theory that LA or Hollywood is kind of like the opening to hell. You know, like this is the end, but like actually in real life. Because yes, LA is a competitive place, but New York doesn't feel like that. Like, I've always told my friends, New York feels like a place that you go to discover your sense of self, where LA feels like a place that you go to lose a sense of yourself. Okay, but back to the astrogeography thing. So you know how different places just feel different? Like, you go to Miami and you're a little turned on. That's just how it is. Like, everyone I've ever talked to has said the same thing. Tulum is a place you go to manifest. It's very powerful. LA has that dark energy around it. So if you're there and you don't really have a good support system, you don't have a really good sense of yourself, you're not like secure in yourself, it is a place that you go and you feel very lost. And you get chewed up and spit out like real quick. So the funny thing about all this is I actually would move to Malibu or Santa Barbara. Like coastal LA, yes. Inland LA, don't go there. You must never go there. Promise me you won't go there. I know it seems so beautiful and glamorous and amazing because you constantly see movies and actors and influencers posting about it. But these are the same people like behind the scenes saying that it's a dark place. But yeah, don't go there if you don't have a solid sense of self or like a good support system.
It's crazy to think that people are starting to wake up to this now when this has been going on for like a decade or two. And probably even way before that. I see people move to LA and then move back within like a year or two because of all the stuff that they see in LA. I've never personally lived there. I've only had a couple of friends move there to try and start some sort of entertainment business career, whether it's acting, modeling, or music. And they've all experienced some weird. And that weird involves getting invited to weird parties, dabbling in some alcohol, dabbling in, some salacious activity that can be uncomfortable for a lot of people. And it's not cool. It's not free-spirited. It's demonic and evil. Because in the end, they want your soul. That's what they want. They want to control you. And they just want to chip away at your soul till there's nothing left. That's why I'm on this mission to create artists with 100% IP and 100% their property. Because the only way we don't need to consume these, corporations anymore is by creating our own businesses and creating our own methods of creativity. It's all a part of the game. It's all a part of the matrix. You just gotta choose where you want to go.
Okay, I'm stuck at the airport because I lost my passport, so I figured now would be a good time to expose the truth about LA. I went there for work, influencer type work, and it was borderline horrifying. So, I would love to tell you guys some of the most I've ever heard, some of the most famous people that you know on planet Earth say. One of the most famous people that I met in my entire trip, I heard them say that mental illness is for the weak. My manager, who was very well connected, who brought me out there, as soon as I didn't have sex with him, he let me go and told me to go find my own work. Like, literally just asked him to please not sleep in my bed. And then all of a sudden it was, you stupid bitch, you're on your own. One of the most famous song managers in LA for like literally the top artists said that I should shut the f up in all my TikToks because nobody wants to see a woman talk, and that I would do a lot better if I just got naked on my TikToks and just shut the f up. Besides the fact that my most popular videos are of me talking. Another famous guy said that the line between girl and girl is just too tough to distinguish these days, and then proceeded to say that if you'd had sex with a girl once, then it's her fault if she says no again because it's too confusing for the man for her to retract her consent the second time. And if you had sex once, then you automatically deserve to have sex with her again. What the I got told I was disgusting for drinking tap water. Tap water. I got fun of for putting on Deftones, at an appropriate time. I wasn't throwing it on at a raging party. Also got made fun of for putting on Shape of Your Heart by Sting, which is the sample from Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD. They're do you not know the original by Juice WRLD? And I was like, what? This is the original. I like both. I just like the original sample too. And they're like, oh, this is so gay. Put on Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD. Okay, no problem. You don't have to be so mean. Everyone just always talks about LA having this sinister kind of evil vibe, and I really didn't believe it until I got there. And then maybe it was the group I was surrounded by, but I'm being honest with you, I was around the elite top people in LA. So if that's the top, then like that's terrifying.
Hi, my name is Riley Dismore. I work in film and television, and I'm doing this series called Hollywood Horror Stories to help explain why people are so fed up with the industry. So to start, I've been doing this for about 7 years. I've directed, I've written, I've produced, I've done hair and makeup, I've done cinematography, I've done production design, and I don't mean that to brag, I just mean that to give some context that I do know what I'm talking about, and I do understand these issues from the perspective of other departments.
Word.
And honestly, I'm really scared to be posting this stuff because I don't want to get blackballed, but I also don't want to be a part of the problem. And I think it's really dangerous, the things that are going on, and I just want people to know that they're not alone, and also, like, I'm not crazy. So one of the first like really cool sets I got to go on and work on, I was doing hair and makeup, and we were shooting on this really cool island, and I was so excited about it. I'd never been to this island. I never worked on anything on such a cool location. I was freaking psyched. I land on the island. It's literally like a movie. I feel like the main character. They pull me from the plane and they bring me directly to set. Like I'm pulling my luggage through the jungle, and this paradise unfolds in front of me. It's unbelievable. I'm also using this Lisa Frank palette. How cute is that? Oh my god. Oh my god. Love it. And on top of that, that was the first time that I got to work with a big actor that I really admired.
She didn't know at all where she was.
So excited to meet her and do her makeup and essentially live with her for a month on this island. It was amazing. I was doing makeup on this movie, and the main actress was not this actor that I was excited to work with. She was another girl who was lovely, woman who was lovely. And when we started doing makeup tests before shooting, that's when the director started coming to me and acting insane. And trigger warning for this point forward, this gets really nasty about women's bodies. This gets rough, okay? The director would come up to me, and sometimes in front of the actress and sometimes in front of the actress's mother, and say, hey, is there anything you can do about her gums? Like her gums show. Hey, can we give her a little Botox up here? If you see her ordering McDonald's, throw it in the trash. Because we need her to lose weight. One, I'm not a licensed medical professional. I can't do Botox, and I wouldn't even if I could. And two, she just said it to hurt that girl's feelings. And three, it doesn't matter what that girl's body looked like, you cast her. And she was healthy. It doesn't matter what her body looked like, she was healthy. And it was like this every day for a month. And again, I'm really scared to be posting this, but I think it's important so we stop getting treated like this.
Hey guys, I'm back with another story time. Today's video is going to be a little bit more on the dark side. So I want to put a trigger warning, and this is something that personally happened to me. As you guys know, I've been doing influencing for the last 10 plus years. And for about 2.5 years, I lived in LA, and I had quite a bit of questionable experiences. This experience being getting invited to a fake photo shoot by a fake photographer and having one of the worst experiences of my life. This whole situation took place in Silver Lake, California. It's a really small city next to Glendale, which is in LA. So I was reached out to via DM on Instagram by a magazine that doesn't exist, and right after I had this situation happen to me, the account was gone. Not a famous one, it was not Vogue, it wasn't Glamour, it was nothing like that. But sometimes you would see influencers be featured in random magazines in LA that, wouldn't have a huge following, but, it's cute, it's an experience, right? So I thought it was one of those situations. The account maybe had like 1,000 or 2,000 followers, but I thought it'd be fun. I wasn't going to get paid for this shoot, but of course I was going to be featured on the cover as well as on their website. They told me I was going to be shooting in a multi-million-dollar mansion in Beverly Hills, so why did I get sent an address to Silver Lake? And the part is that my intuition told me not to go. Even my best friend at the time told me, like, I don't know if this is a good idea, but I just wanted the experience. So the photographer I was supposed to work with, all they told me was his name was Carl. The address they gave me was actually a couple houses down from the actual address that I was supposed to go to, because they told me just go a couple houses down to the left and you'll see the person waving you down. Immediately I'm like, okay, this is not the multi-million-dollar property that they promised. This was like a one-bedroom little like bungalow type thing. The photographer was nice at first, but immediately he started trying to get me drunk. He said that he did this with all the models just to loosen up and have a good time. He was turning music on. But when I say this man was trying to get me drunk, like, he kept pouring them and pouring them. But I stopped after like 3 shots because I'm not really a drinker. I was definitely tipsy, but I was not drunk. So I was fully aware of everything that was going on. I've gone to some shoots with friends and they'll have makeup artist, hair, outfit, everything. This wasn't there. They told me to bring pajamas. They told me to bring like loungewear, comfy type stuff. So I was thinking, oh, like this is gonna be like a comfy, cozy type shoot. So after taking a couple of photos, everything was fine. And then he started saying, I don't know, these photos aren't really working out. This man came up to me while I was posing and pulled my shorts up into like a wedgie, basically to like expose my entire ass. Said, oh yeah, that's better now, and continued to take pictures. I was uncomfortable, of course, but I was like, okay, like maybe these will look better. I don't know. Like, girl, I was only 20, but if I'm gonna be honest, like mentally, I was maybe like 17. I was very sheltered growing up and did not have a lot of experiences, so I was very naive to a lot of stuff. After taking a couple more photos, he pulls out a box and it is filled with Polaroids. These Polaroids are a bunch of girls either half naked or full nude, and they were all in loungewear, comfortable type clothes like I was, but they were exposing themselves. He asked me if he could take a couple pictures of me like that. I immediately said no. I was like, sir, I thought this was like something different. I think you have the wrong person for this job. This man tries to start pouring more shots, talking about, oh, all the other girls did it. Like, it's fine. Like, it's not weird. If you think it's weird, you're weird. Like, not him trying to gaslight me. After saying no like 12 freaking times, this guy comes up to me, picks me up by my and starts spinning me around, starts squeezing me, starts getting way too touchy, and then starts doing movements insinuating. This dude was bigger than me, stronger than me, so like your girl couldn't get away. And every time I would almost get away, it would just switch to a different position of him doing some other weird I finally get away from this guy, get out of the apartment, and I'm running down the street so I can call an Uber, and the whole time he's yelling, you stupid, you stupid. I went straight back to my apartment, I got straight in bed, and I just cried. I had a roommate at the time, and they kept asking me, like, are you okay? Like, what's going on? And I just kept saying, like, nothing, I don't want to talk about it. I went back on Instagram to DM the magazine to tell them what happened, and their account was gone. So I'm over here trying to look up, like, Carl the photographer, LA, Carl, Silver Lake, anything, and nothing was showing up. At this time, I was going through so much other as well, just being in LA and being in toxic groups of people and just being in really scary situations, as you guys have seen from my other stories. So many times in the past, I had reported things to the police and nothing would come from it. Like, no investigation, nobody arrested, like, nothing. I would just never hear back.
I heard, like, the police is, like, out there, from what I hear, sucks, like, and just racist as hell, bro. Like, what was I about to say after this? Like, that's so far high, like, because I do got a couple of friends in LA, but the ones that are from New York, at least most, not, if not all, they tell me, like, yo, it's not what it's hyped up to be. Like, it's mad evil shit, bro. Like, I can't front. Like, when I was younger, I always wanted to go out there and shit. But, like, as I got older, it's just shit ain't what it appears to be.
So from my older stories where people are like, oh my God, are you just talking about it for clout? Did you report it? This happened almost 10 years ago, a lot of these situations. And yes, I did report it. But there's some dark going on out there that, like, some people are just protected. They don't care about, like, certain shit. I don't know. So I called the police and I told them what happened, and they said they would get back to me. I gave them the little information that I had at the time, and they basically said, sorry, we can't do anything about it. Saying that this person probably gave me a fake name, fake address, all that, and they're probably just gone. But, oh, we'll get back to you if we find out anything. 2 years later, I decide to try again. This time I'm living in Arizona. I get a social worker. I work with the police. Here we go, involving the Silver Lake police again. I really do appreciate the social worker that was trying to help me as much as she could. We spent hours together trying to look anything up and find anything to get this man. But of course, it led to another dead end, and the police once again dropped the case. So I'm just sharing this story for the girls out there that have the dream of moving out to LA and becoming a model or an actress, anything along the lines in entertainment. Please be careful, like, please. I am not the only person that this kind of thing has happened to. This has happened to hundreds, if not thousands, of women and men. And I know it's not my fault that this man couldn't control himself. There are so many weirdos out there trying to prey on people with a dream. I'm sure there's tons of photographers that just want to build their portfolio and they're offering free shoots in exchange. But please do a little bit of investigating and look into, seeing if they've worked with anybody else, and you could reach out to them and see how their experience was if you don't find much info. This was actually one of the main reasons why I left LA. After I realized I wasn't protected out there and I just didn't feel safe anymore, I had to go. Girl, the nightmares I have had and the guilt that I have just like had on my like heart, because I wish I would have took a photo of his face so I would have been able to actually identify him and prevent him from doing this to other women and men, because you never know. But hey, maybe posting this, somebody had a similar situation, unfortunately, but maybe they can give me a little bit more to report him with. So that was the beginning and the end of my modeling career in LA. But yeah, just another day in LA, right?
Women shouldn't be in roles like this because we're just so emotional. I mean, I've worked with Bryan Singer. I've seen emotional men.
You guys remember that hilarious clip with Jennifer Lawrence talking about how she worked with Bryan Singer? Well, this is who Bryan Singer is. He's who directed a lot of the X-Men movies and Bohemian Rhapsody, and he has had brutal sexual allegations against him for over 2 decades. He's had lawsuits against him. He's, it's been an ongoing thing. But right after Bohemian Rhapsody got its Oscar nod, The Atlantic published this insane article about 4 young men that were coming forward anonymously, not trying to get money, not trying to sue anyone, but warning the public about Bryan Singer and his record. He is now self-funding a documentary completely refuting those allegations. And I have I was gonna say
that should remind me of that one video Dan Schneider did, bro. If y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. How the fuck did he get? I want to know how much did he pay Debo, bro? Out of anybody to interview you. Debo. What the fuck? Damn, cool.
I have a lot of words, so let's get into it. My name is Riley Dismore, and I work in film and television, and I do this series called Hollywood Horror Stories, where I explain a lot of what's wrong in the industry and what we can do to make it better. Let's also be clear, he got fired from Bohemian Rhapsody for being a maniac. He's not just a sexual predator, allegedly. He's also rumor has that he has a crazy temper. He just flies off the handle really easily, hence, Jennifer Lawrence's remark. This is gonna dry. He had instant success, like his first feature won the jury award at Sundance, and then in 1997 he made Appointment Pupil. I haven't seen it, I don't care to, but a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old, 2 young men, not men, children, filed suits against him for this inappropriate off-the-books strip scene, and Singer totally denies it. So now he can't get distribution. He tried to have a comeback with Red Sonja. His investors and distributors dropped him then because they couldn't find anyone to actually buy the damn thing. And so now he has no agent, no representation, can't get anyone to hire him to make another movie. So he is self-funding this documentary about these allegations. Everything really imploded after Red Sonja when these allegations came out with these 4 young men, and people are asking, like, why are these allegations different than the ones before? Number one, it's in the wake of the Me Too movement, which I'm so sick of hearing people, whenever I do, a Hollywood horror story about, a man being abused, everyone's like, well, if roles were reversed, if he was a woman, we'd hear a lot more about this. No, there's enough room for all of us to get redemption. There's enough room for all of us to call out bad behavior. The article of these 4 young men coming forward was originally written for Esquire, but Esquire didn't want to publish it because of the power and politics involved. So the writers sold it to The Atlantic. This color is kind of giving Scarlett Johansson and Asteroid City. We need to bring Coral back. The writers met with the 4 young men. They chose not to come forward. They reiterated, like, these young men don't want anything. They don't want money. They don't want fame. They want to be anonymous. They just want this man to be accountable and to stop making movies and to stop making millions and millions of dollars for making movies. Like, people working in Hollywood does have political power and does have a social responsibility. So don't even come saying it's just a movie. Who cares? You don't, and you're saying that online, so I wouldn't post that online. One anonymous documentarian did say about the upcoming doc from Singer, like, he was being sarcastic and he was like, oh, well, at least we know it's going to be fair and balanced, which is hilarious. The writers of the expose did corroborate all the facts, you know, like if one of the victims was talking about a specific bedroom that a happened in, like they looked at the floor plan of the house and they were like, yep, that's exactly where it happened. Just as an example of how these claims have been thoroughly researched. Since documentaries often have very, very small budgets, like they rarely exceed $1 million, and a lot of this information is from the Hollywood Reporter, by the way. You know, filmmakers like Brett Ratner, who's also blacklisted because of the Me Too movement, a lot of those types of filmmakers make documentaries when they can't make studio films anymore because people are tired of putting up with their bull. So this is another example of that. I don't know if I'll be watching it. I hope I can find a way to watch it and report back on it without giving Singer any money. But we will see. That guy.
Guys, oh my God, those stories were crazy. Especially the one about the girl Nessa. She had black hair and it was kind of wavy. Yeah. She had been an influencer in the game for a while, and she has like tons of stories about her in LA and like the crazy stuff that happened, but I didn't want to like put too many on there because it just would have been a like thing about her. But yeah, like Hollywood can be weird, I'm sure. Like I live in California, I'm from California. I'm in the Bay Area, so it's usually like a 5-6 hour drive to the LA area. And you know, I enjoy myself, but I don't ever just go to Hollywood. Like, I'm in usually LA. And I want to differentiate between LA and freaking Hollywood. Hollywood and LA are two different places. Hollywood is in LA County, but I know some really cool people in LA who are from there and live there, and they're just regular people. See, the thing is, I think that when people move to LA, they're moving to like just LA County or Hollywood in hopes of becoming famous, and then when it doesn't work out, they go crazy and lose their mind, or they lose their mind trying to do so many things that is like against their morals, and then they don't become famous, so they just did all this stuff for nothing that was against their morals, and they cannot live with themselves, and they lose their mind. Just there's a lot of people with off their rocker there and not normal there is all I can say from the people, because I can even speak from my experience. I dabbled in modeling here and there, so I'll go to LA sometimes and do photo shoot and do like my promotional job that I told you guys about in the Amanda Seales video, where I would promote different brands, and I still do that to this day every now and then, promoting different brands. But there would be some companies that would have brand promotion and modeling on their same contract, I guess, so you can do either or both. So this reminded me of this one time where I was in San Francisco. It's not even in LA, but I was in San Francisco, right? And there was this company that wanted to hire me like a quick $200 to stay at this party for 3 hours, as it's called atmosphere modeling. Girl who just goes to parties just to hang out. And when I got there, it was like a corporate party, mainly men, a few women, but everybody was dressed up in like tuxedos and stuff. And it was at this bar in downtown freaking San Francisco, and there was probably about like 7 of the girls, and the lady who hired us at the modeling agency told us to dress up in like all black cocktail attire, and all the girls in black were young. Like I think I was 22 at the time or something. We were really young, right? All the girls were young in their black dresses, and we all kind of came together like, hey, you got paid to be here? Yeah. We all looked the same. Clearly we got paid to be here. And everybody else was like really old or older. They were like probably at least in their 50s.
Damn.
Probably 45 to like 60 was the age range of people there. And I just felt so yucky even doing that. I know I wasn't paid to do anything else. I think I had to sign an NDA. A lot of the events I do, I have to sign NDAs because they don't want us to like tell about what happens at the party. I can't remember if I signed an NDA for that, but it would have been up anyways if I signed an NDA. But yeah, it was just weird. People clearly knew what we were there for, and it was just modeling. But I know there's some times where one of the girls was talking about they send people to recruit to get girls for parties to do other things than just hang out. like how I was paid to just literally hang out. It's called escorting, if y'all didn't know. And what I did, I don't believe it was escorting because it was like a legitimate agency and they had like promotional jobs everywhere. But it felt borderline like I was escorting because there were so many old men trying to talk to me, trying to, take me home. I had 2 people try to proposition me to take me home. And I'm like, is this a thing that happens at their parties that often where they have people that just young girls that come dressed up in their black dresses and come entertain older men? But yeah, so since that was just in San Francisco and it was not high profile and it was not a bunch of celebrities with like really high profile status and they don't want people to know anything about them. So I can just imagine how it was doing that and then thinking about how it is with like a real celebrity party. Of course they're gonna make you sign NDAs. Of course there's gonna be weird, crazy stuff going on. But yeah, what do you guys think about these stories? Have you been to Hollywood and experienced anything weird? Have you been propositioned to go to a party?
Yo, that was a different type of video for real. Not the usual type that I usually would react to, but I kinda wanted to bring awareness to stuff like that. Even though, like, I've never been to LA at all, but I had friend I I had friends go there and even attempt to move there, and even some that are from California and some that are from New York that live in California now. And the stories was just never good, bro. Like the stories, they, it's either like either evil bad vibes or just like, yeah, like I can only say so much. That, and I once had a friend that moved out there, and like what he was telling me about, like it was like he was just saying that like, yo, it's like they're mad, like you only go there to gain something, like to gain your status or whatever. It's not just networking and just like, you know, um to the point where he was like, you know how like certain clubs or whatever, um they would like not let you in for like other reasons or whatever. And he was just saying like, yo, they asked to see my followers just to get into a club, bro. And like the crazy thing was like while he's telling me these stories and shit, I'm like, okay, but like I get like your experience was kind of crazy out there, but we New York niggas, bro. Like, so who gives a fuck, bro? Like, you know. And I just like they started changing. I just don't associate or deal with that person no more. But being in certain environments, especially if you're not sane enough with yourself as well as sane enough to experience some of the stuff that goes on, you definitely gotta be careful. And like I get like those people that like maybe grew up in like places that don't have much activities in, so like you kind of yearn for some like experiences and just like things that you may want to do or like doing, but y'all never sacrifice your well-being just for money, for status. Like none of that shit is worth it. Like, and I'm pretty sure like you guys, most of y'all know that already. I feel like my age range on this channel is like about like 18 to like up to like 25 and a little up. So like I'm pretty sure y'all aware of these things. I just want to give awareness to stuff like this, cause yeah, bro. there's a lot of people that claim to be real and claim to be conscious for that matter, and they still associate with some evil low frequency stuff. And sometimes I can be portrayed as either bougie or Hollywood when I was never any of those things, but niggas is gonna talk regardless, bro. So never gave the fuck about that. And if anybody were to like believe some shit like that through anybody else, like believe that shit, bro. Cause like keep all that shit away from me. As well, if there's any like women that follow, I don't think that is that much. Like, it doesn't matter whether like you guys are new or you're a subscriber. Like, I also wanted to bring awareness to also the women too, cause like there's a lot of dudes that don't be sticking up for them or just like hearing them out, despite being a movement and all. But if you guys enjoyed this, I know like I probably didn't react or pause and chat enough in this one. If you guys would like for me to react to like any other similar to this or just any other video for that matter, comment down below and I'll react to it ASAP. It's your boy Chosen Pharaoh. Deuces.